What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to install Boost Auto's Lumastep M1 running boards for 2007 through 2018 Jeep Wrangler JKUs. So let's get into it. Guys, make Lumastep M1 running boards the next addition to your Jeep Wrangler JKU. These first of its kind light-up running boards are built rugged, constructed with 6000 series aerospace grade aluminum. Rest assured, they'll endure whatever you throw at them. Not only that, the customizability on these guys is through the roof. Configure them however you like. Lighting options include white or amber running light that stays on with your park lights. You'll also get to choose between standard signal that flashes in amber or sequential signal, where the signal swipes across the length of the boards. Also, check out our awesome customizable step pads that adds added durability and grip to your boards. With so many more options and so many more add-ons, you will love the way these boards feel, but especially how they look. Stand out from the rest with Lumastep M1 light-up running boards. Couple things to note here. This video will show you how to install Lumastep M1 to 2007 through 2018 Jeep Wrangler JKUs. That's the 4-door Wranglers. If you have a JLU, so 2018 and newer Jeep Wrangler, please reference that video for your install process. To check fitment, availability, and to purchase Lumastep M1 or any other product offered for your vehicle, please go to boostauto.com. And now back to the install. Before we start the install, let's go over what's in the boxes. In your running board box, you'll have your running boards, but also your electrical components that are needed. This is what's going to be in the hardware box. As you can see over here, I have our brackets on this side. In the center, I have our primary brackets, and on the outer sides, I have our secondary brackets. Each bracket is labeled, so you'll know where to put each bracket on the vehicle. Now over here on this side, we have our hardware, and while we go throughout the install, we'll show you where each component goes. This section is very important. This will be the mounting hole on the bracket that goes into the body panel, like so. Now on this side, this assorted hardware will be used for if the vehicle already has threaded holes in the body panel. And on this side, this will be for if the vehicle does not have a threaded hole and an open hole, you will be using the drop-in nut. Pretty much you're gonna go ahead and slide it in, angle it over, fish it over, and line it up with the hole. For your reference, the location for the drop-in nut or the threaded hole will roughly be between the two front-facing holes that are located at the pinch weld as shown here. Here's a list of tools you'll need for this install. Go ahead and get them at this time, then let's continue with the install. As you can see here, the entirety of the procedure can be done on the ground. However, for ease of filming, we'll be lifting the vehicle. Let's do that now. All right, we just lifted the vehicle. We're gonna go ahead and continue mounting the brackets. For this vehicle, we're starting on the passenger side. However, on the driver's side, it is identical. So let's go ahead and start mounting the brackets. We're gonna have 3 mounting locations for this vehicle, starting at the passenger front, then the passenger center, and last, the passenger rear. We're gonna go ahead and start with mounting our passenger front bracket labeled PF. Start with lining up the threaded hole to the bracket, and then taking your assembled hardware, your 13mm hex bolt with your lock washer and your flat washer. Quick side note, as we mentioned previously, if your vehicle does not have this threaded hole, you'll use in the drop-in nut and the longer 16mm bolt with the corresponding lock washer and flat washer. We're gonna go ahead and further tighten the bolt using our 13mm. However, at this time, we're not gonna tighten it all the way down to make final adjustments down the line. You're gonna go ahead and mount your secondary bracket to the pinch weld here and on the bottom of the primary bracket here. This is your bracket for this side of the vehicle. It's labeled P for passenger side. It's gonna go ahead and slip in the back of the pinch weld and align with the primary bracket right here. You're gonna grab your 10mm hex bolts with your flat washer and slide them into the pinch weld here and on here. And then a flat washer on the back side with a lock nut. can see here we're using a 10mm wrench to hold the lock nut in place while we tighten the bolt from the other side using a 10mm socket. You can go ahead and do this too, though don't tighten it all the way quite yet.
Once the secondary bracket is installed to the pinch weld, you could go ahead and line up the hole from the secondary bracket to the primary bracket and feed in your 16mm hex bolt with a flat washer on one side. And then you can go ahead and install a flat washer, lock washer, and a 16mm hex nut on the other side.
Like before, you can use a wrench, in this case a 16mm wrench on one side, and tighten from the other side using a 16mm socket.
With the passenger front bracket already mounted, we could go ahead and mount the passenger center and the passenger rear in the same way.
Here's the passenger center mounting point. Your main bracket will be labeled PC. Follow the on-screen graphics to assemble your hardware in the correct order. Guys, for the secondary brackets, make sure to use the brackets labeled P for passenger side. And finally, here's the rear passenger side mounting point. Real quick, your main bracket will be labeled PR.
All right, with the passenger brackets all wrapped up, we can go ahead and get started on the driver's side. All right, with our brackets already installed, we can move over to mounting our actual running boards, so let's get unboxing.
Make sure the correct running board is mounted on each side. The Lumastep M1 plate as well as the running board module should face towards the front.
With the board flipped over, we could go ahead and prep our running board for install. We go ahead and install our T-bolts in the channel, 3 for each channel, 6 in total.
Go ahead and align the T-bolts to the corresponding brackets. Next, let's drop the running board onto the brackets and guide the T-bolts through the brackets. Go ahead and secure each bolt with the flat washer, lock washer, and nut. Keep it loose enough to where you can slide the board to your desired position a few steps down. Slide your running board to the desired position.
Now that you have your board where you want it, you can go ahead and tighten everything down.
The steps to install the running board on the driver's side is identical to the passenger side, so go ahead and install the driver's side running boards at this time.
Let's proceed with the install. We'll continue with routing the harnesses under your hood. Let's start by opening the hood.
Now before we do anything electrical, we're just going to disconnect the battery at the negative terminal real quick. Next, we'll route the passenger side main harness, the one with the power and ground terminals, down to the running board module. Follow the routing as shown in the graphic. Route a flattened out metal piece up from the bottom of the fender liner all the way to the inside of the engine bay. We are just securing the end with the 2 black connectors to the flattened out metal piece here. Once secured, pull it back down to the running board module. Go ahead and connect the corresponding connectors to the module and secure the harness.
All right, we're gonna continue with routing our main running board harness. This is the black receiving connector that will go to turn signal. And if you option for park light, you can see down here, here's our turn signal headlamp. And we're gonna continue routing down to it. You'll be able to access it through the back of the fender right in here. So here's the back of our connector. On top, you're gonna see a red tab. You're gonna go ahead and slide the tab back. Once the tab is slid back, go ahead and press on the connector and pull it out at the same time.
Okay guys, now we'll tap the connector using the provided Hardwire adapter from the kit.
This is your Hardwire adapter that will come in the kit. On this side, you'll have your actual plug-in to the black receiving connector at the headlight. The kit will also have your 4 red T-taps and your 4 blue T-taps. For this application, we'll be using the red T-taps. On the other end of the connector, you'll have your red and yellow wire, which is always for turn signal. For the quick disconnect, if option for park light, you'll have your blue quick disconnect. And if option for rock light, you'll have your white with the pink butt connector on it. And if you do not option for it, you can just tape these out of the way.
Awesome, let's get tapping. The pin locations are pretty straightforward. With the connector tab pointing up, pin 1 is at the top, pin 2 is in the middle, and pin 3 is at the bottom. For signal, we'll tap to pin 1. That's the topmost pin. Go ahead and close the T-tap all the way until it clicks, and connect the red and yellow wire from the Hardwire adapter to this T-tap. Next, if you option for running light, tap to pin 2, which is the middle pin. Then connect the blue wire from your Hardwire adapter here. Next, we'll take the black connector on the Hardwire adapter and connect it to the black receiving connector from the main harness. If you did not option for rock light, you can tape up the harness at this time and reconnect the marker light connector.
Alright guys, with tapping done, we could go ahead and move over to the driver's side where routing the harness is identical to the passenger side.
Connect the 2 black connectors to your running board module and connect to the front marker light in the same way, tapping at the same pin locations. Finally, we're going to connect the white pass-through connector from the driver's side to the passenger side. Up next, we're installing our rock light harness. The rock light function overrides any existing function when activated and now puts a solid white light. This will remain on until you switch it off. It cannot be overridden by functions such as turn signal or running light. If you did not option for rock light, you can skip to the next section. If you did option for rock light but did not purchase our rock light harness, you will simply need to run a 12-volt power feed to the white wire on our Hardwire adapter. If you have an existing rock light or auxiliary switch, you can use that, or a 12-volt trigger will do. Let's continue.
We're going to go ahead and route our rock light harness into the cab of the vehicle through the firewall. We'll first start off with unplugging the rock light switch.
Here we're taping the red and white wires to a straightened out metal piece to pass across the inside of the cab. Locate a suitable spot for the rock light switch and drill a hole into the dash. Once the hole is drilled, install the rock light switch. Be sure to connect the white wire to slot 1 and the red wire to slot 2 as shown here.
Alright, after you route your rock light harness switch side into the cab, you can go ahead and continue with routing the rock light signal feed side and the power feed to the battery. Your white cable is going to go to your Hardwire taps at the headlights, while your red ring terminal is going to go straight to your battery power.
Go ahead and crimp down your signal feed to the white wire on the Hardwire adapter. Do this on the passenger side and the driver's side. Go ahead and tape up the Hardwire adapter and all its connections, then reconnect the front marker light connector. Awesome, now we can hook up our harnesses to power and ground. Go ahead and connect the red wire from your main harness, as well as the red wire from your rock light harness, if you option for it, to the positive terminal on the battery. And connect the black wire from your main harness to the negative terminal.
With power and ground now hooked up to our running boards, we can walk on over to make sure everything is operational. Now moving on to the final part of our install, let's go ahead and secure the harness out of the way of any heat or moving components.
And with that, your Lumastep M1 running boards are fully installed to your Jeep Wrangler.
Well, that's all for this install. To get Lumastep M1 running boards, head on over to boostauto.com. Boost Auto also offers a wide range of products, parts, and accessories for your truck or SUV. To stay up to date on our latest content, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, that's all for now. Catch you in the next one.